My name is Andrew John Mitchell, Artistic Director here at the Milburn Stone Theatre, and today we'll be talking to the cast of our April-May production of Fun Home. First up, we have Miss Cameryn Deibler. Cameryn, who do you play in Fun Home?
I play small Allison.
Excellent. Where might have MST audiences seen you perform in the past?
Well, I was Cruella de Vil at the YMCA. I was Lavender and Matilda at Servant Stage. And I was Mowgli in the Jungle Book at Streetlight Productions.
Excellent. How familiar were you with Fun Home before you auditioned for the show?
I had never heard of it before.
Not at all?
I heard of the song Ring of Keys.
Excellent.
I was going to use that for an audition song, but other than that, I knew nothing about the show.
Excellent. So you're playing Small Allison. Tell us a little bit about Small Allison.
Well, she's basically me, but she's from the 70s, not 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a tomboy and she wants to be like this woman that walks into the diner and she really likes her Ring of Keys.
Excellent. Has it been challenging playing a character based on a real person compared to a fictional character? What has that been like for you?
It's been a little challenging because it has to seem real. It's not fake. Because like Cruella de Vil, she can seem all fake and like, hi. But if she's a real person, then it can't seem fake. It has to seem natural.
So personally, how do you relate to Small Allison? Do you find yourself similar to her in some ways? Do you find yourself different from her in some ways?
Well, like I said before, we're like basically the same person. She's a tomboy, I'm a tomboy. We're around the same age, well, as in like the show and now. Yeah.
Excellent. So Fun Home has a bunch of beautiful songs in it. Do you have a favorite song in the show to sing?
Well, that's hard. Ring of Keys or Come to the Fun Home.
So moving away from Fun Home for just 1 second, can you tell us like 3 fun facts about Cameryn?
My favorite food is sushi. I like to do aerial silks, and I like to make YouTube videos in my free time.
Excellent. That sounds, those all sound like fun. Do you have a favorite moment so far in the show? Tell us something that you've loved through the rehearsal process.
I don't know, the people, everybody, the director, Will, he has really helped me like in every chance that he gets, and it's been really fun. And I love everybody, and I'm gonna be so sad when this ends because I love it.
Okay, well, I have one more question for you, and it's a big one, all right? Why should audiences come to see Fun Home?
Because it's an amazing musical, and no other musical has made me cry in every single scene.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I wish I did. I feel so dumb. I feel your swagger and your bearing and the just right clothes you're wearing, your short hair and your dungarees and your lace-up boots and your keys, your ring of keys.
Now we're with Elizabeth HAMIL. Liz, who do you play in Fun Home?
I play medium Allison in Fun Home.
Excellent. So where might have MST audiences seen you perform in the past?
Well, my very first show was American Psycho back in 2019. And then after that, it was Chicago. That was right before the shutdown. And then Christmas Carol almost happened. But then after that, it was the Who's Tommy, which was the most recent one. So, and then here we are with Fun Home.
Excellent. So how familiar were you with Fun Home before you auditioned for the show?
I was very familiar. I had gotten introduced to it probably a year before, and I just fell for it so hard. And when the announcement came out about the auditions, I was ready to throw my whole self into it.
So you are playing Medium Allison. Tell us a little bit about the role of Medium Allison.
She is at this very specific point in her life where she's figuring out that she likes girls, and then she finds out that her dad likes guys. And it's this pivotal point in her life where she is just really settling into herself with all the turmoils that come with that.
Has it been challenging playing a role based on a real person? What's been your journey through this rehearsal process?
It's been incredibly challenging playing a real person, because if it's, you know, a made-up character, you can kind of bring your own interpretation to it. But this is someone who lived these experiences, and it's my job to do them justice. And it's difficult, but the process has been wonderful. Will has very laid out ideas, and we've been able to work together and find a middle ground.
Excellent. Personally, do you identify with Medium Allison in any way?
Me too.
What ways are you similar, and also what ways are you different?
I think that we are different in a way that I didn't have to go through this with my own family when I was coming out and when I was discovering that I liked women and men. I had a very lovely support system in my family, and that is not something that she had. And I mean, you'll see she is brought through the ringer by her family. So I think that there's a kindred spirit there, but I'm very thankful for the support system that I personally had.
Fun Home is a beautiful and moving, yet also challenging piece of theater, to say the least.
Yes.
What has been the most challenging part of this process for you, and also what's been the most rewarding?
The most challenging, 1000%, is I keep trying to mimic the Broadway actress, and I have to find myself in this character and make it my own, and which I think that I have done. I've settled into this character in ways that I'm very happy about. It's been incredibly rewarding working with this cast and this director, and I'm so confident that this group of people is going to do this show justice, and that's everything to me. It makes the process so much more worth it.
Moving away from the show for just a moment, please tell us 3 things about Liz.
I'm a professional mermaid. I do kids' birthday parties, community events, all kinds of stuff. The tails are fully swimmable. I just graduated with my degree in performing arts from this very institution, and I have a very well-used library card.
German club? Over there. Right, thanks. Danke!
Do you have a favorite moment from the rehearsal process you'd like to share with us?
Absolutely. I think the coming together of these 3 worlds. Now they are one world, but it's 3 different points in Allison's life, all culminating in the finale, where the 3 Allisons are all on stage, all engrossed in each other for the first time. It's just such an important moment, and it gives me chills to sing the song every single time.
So Medium Allison gets all these great scenes with Joan, played by Marion Jackson, our production, during what some might call Allison's discovery phase. What's it been like to work through these scenes, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally?
Yeah. I think the intimacy aspect of all of this has been handled so professionally. Will has been just so wonderful in making sure that we are comfortable and that we understand each other's limits. And this is something that I've never experienced before. I've never had to work with an intimacy coach. But besides that, Marion has just held my hand through all of this because she has done this show before, I have not. So it's kind of like Joan leading Medium Allison, whereas Marion is leading me through these scenes. And it's great. It's really, really good.
Do you have a favorite song in Fun Home to sing?
Obviously, I love Changing My Major. I think that's the one that was stuck in my brain for the weeks leading up to rehearsals. It's a mix of raw emotion and also just sweet innocence and excitement and discovery. And she's just the epitome of this little lovely flower, just opening for the first time in her life.
Excellent. And finally, why should audiences come see Fun Home?
I think that everybody in their lives at some point has felt confused or excited about something new or stuck. That's a huge theme with Allison, is that she just feels so stuck. And even if it's not, you know, a lesbian cartoonist and her gay dad, it's a sense of discovery and loveliness that I think everybody can relate to in some way. And if not, just come and enjoy. Just come see us. It's one of my favorite pieces of theater out there, and I'm so honored to be able to participate in it.
Heart and soul, King Stafford must have loved Robert Lowell because he treated her badly. They took the same romantic path as shoes and flags.
Now we are with Mr. Mark Dixon. Mark, hello.
Hi, Andrew. How are you?
Not too bad. So you're playing Bruce in Fun Home.
Mm-hmm.
Where might have MSD audiences seen you perform in the past?
Well, my first time here was in fall or spring of 2006 in Baby. I played Alan. And then I had a bit of a hiatus, and then I did 4 shows here in 2015, starting as King Arthur in Spamalot, which is probably where most people will remember me from. I also had a bit part in Follies, and then a couple of parts in The Company and Merrily We Roll Along repertory.
Excellent. So how familiar were you with Fun Home before you auditioned for the show?
Oh, quite familiar. I had seen the show on Broadway. It was kind of fun. They have a lottery. They had a lottery to get in. That was, you go online and they would select who got in 4 hours in advance. So we were in Delaware and went and entered the lottery, found out we got picked. So we had to scramble, get in the car, drive to the train station, hop the train, go to New York, get to the box office just in time to pick up our tickets, see the show, and then take the train back home again. And it was worth every minute of it. It's an amazing show.
That's a busy afternoon/evening.
Yeah, yes, it was, but it was fun.
So since you're playing Bruce, tell us a little bit about Bruce in Fun Home.
Well, Bruce he's the father, he's the patriarch of the family, and the show is basically about, you know, how his demons affect the rest of the family and how they lead, you know, down to when Allison is adult and she's still wrestling with those things that she carries with her from what her father was like. He's very repressed, you know. He's very emotional. He's got his joie de vivre, but he's always real repressed and keeps his emotions inside, and that causes him to kind of, at the point where it kind of builds up to when it explodes, and so he can explode in rage, and then all of a sudden be right back to calm again. So he's very held back. Never gets too big, except for those moments of rage.
Sure. So speaking about Bruce, Bruce was a living person. Mm-hmm. What's it like playing a little living person? And also, how are you like Bruce and how are you different from Bruce?
Well, I've never really considered myself a repressed type personality. Okay. I'm pretty out there and outgoing. So that's been an adjustment for me, is to learn how to direct everything inside like that. And that actually kind of helps in a way, because when everything's kind of pushed in like that and hidden, when I do have to get those moments of explosion, it just automatically kind of comes out. So that's kind of cool. I mean, I'm like Bruce in that I have a father, I have a family, I have kids. Kind of doing this kind of makes me aware of, oh my God, what have I done to my kids? My kids actually turned out all right, so.
That's good. Excellent. So Fun Home is certainly a beautiful and moving show, but it's also not a light night of theater by any stretch of imagination. What's been the most challenging part of this rehearsal process for you so far, and what's also been the most rewarding?
Well, the challenging part, it is very emotional. It can be you're working up to the big emotional climax, and I have that big song at the end that I walk off the stage every time and I'm just kind of wrung out. And I know it's going to happen, and it's already that way in rehearsal, and it's just going to get more intense when we have an audience and the lights and the music and everything. So that's going to be, you know, I kind of have to gird myself up to be able to do that and kind of hold together like that. The most enjoyable part for me, though, has been getting to know the cast and the crew and becoming the family that we actually are on stage, because we all become pretty tight, and that's been great.
Excellent. So we're going to move away from Fun Home for just 1 second.
Okay.
I'd like 3 fun facts about Mark Dixon.
Okay, let's see, where do I start? 1, I have been on 2 national game shows.
Okay, you got to name them.
Okay, I was on Jeopardy in
Excellent.
1992, and I was on the very first 2 weeks of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Regis.
Excellent.
I was like, he and I were like that for like about 15 minutes.
All right, 2 more.
Let's see. Second, I'm a national champion, world champion frisbee player.
Okay.
I played on the 1994 Masters Ultimate team at Worlds and the USA Masters, and we won.
Ah, there you
So
go.
I've got a little tiny gold medal.
Still, it's a gold
Yeah.
medal.
Yeah.
And then one more.
Okay. 4 years ago, actually now, I spent 30 days traveling around the country, seeing a game in all 30 major league parks. 31 games in 30 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that. Just like you just going around the world in a hot air balloon, except it's all the ballparks, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. Back to Fun Home.
Okay.
So the score for Fun Home is absolutely incredible. What's your favorite song on the show to sing?
So many to choose from, but I think my favorite is the opening song, because we're all part of it for one thing, and it kind of introduces the characters, and you get to see how adult Allison has so many of the same characteristics as her father, and it's kind of shaped by her father. I'll sing a line and she ends up singing a line. It's like, okay, she's kind of picked up these habits or these sayings or these things from her dad without maybe even realizing it. And we actually I sing something, she something, and we end up coming together singing it as a duet. Which is really kind of cool, because we're not actually interacting with each other, we're in our own little worlds, but we're still singing the duet and kind of singing the same things. It's like a cool father-daughter moment, even though we're not together. It's really fun.
Do you have a favorite moment through the rehearsal process so far that you'd like to share with us?
Let's see. I think one of the cool things was early on in the rehearsals, when I was just getting to work with Cameryn, who plays small Allison, my daughter. We've gotten pretty tight. You know, like she's almost like my own daughter in that case. Like we right over before, she's like, come give me a hug. There's the moment early on where we do the airplane, you know, where I lie on my back and put my legs up, and she has to pop up and put her arms out like she's Superman. And at first she was like scared and like, oh no, I'm gonna fall. And it was like a moment of learning how to trust each other. And I said, don't worry, I won't let you fall. This is how you do it, put it here. Now, okay, make sure you tell me where it goes, but it's here. Now get up there, and now put your arms out. And she's like, you gotta hold me, you know, at first. But then she realized, okay, I can do this, and he's not gonna let me fall. Now she just pops up there and she holds it, and we can hold it for several minutes if we had to.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool journey about learning that trust, because it starts there, but it goes through the whole show.
So you have a wonderful scene partner in the show, Rachel Pomerantz, who plays Helen, your wife. Tell us a little bit about those scenes that you've had together and the dynamic between Bruce and Helen.
Well, Bruce and Helen are married pretty much in name only. You know, Bruce is a closeted gay person, and Helen's known this from early on in their marriage. She didn't know it until after they were married, but she's basically known it the entire marriage. And she kind of keeps the facade up. She goes along with the lie, but you know, they've had kids and so forth, but they really aren't truly married. They aren't partners. They're really like this all the time. So it's always antagonistic, and it does boil over at a few points during the show. Like there's one point where I'm supposed to kind of come over to her and like kind of put my hand on her shoulder, like yeah, she's really good at something, but it's like kind of like, you know, awkward like that, and I take my hand off right away. They don't have that kind of warmth or physicality between them, which has been tough because Rachel is just such a sweet and warm person, so we have to pretend to hate each other when we actually like each other.
The dynamics of theater, right?
Yep, that's what you do.
Yeah.
You have to pretend.
Okay, one last question.
Okay.
Why should audiences come see Fun Home?
Because it's awesome. It's an amazing show. It's so well written. The music, the script, the story. It's not a light night of theater, like you said, but it's beautiful and it's emotional, and you will feel something when you come here. If you see the show and you don't feel something really strong, then we didn't do our job. But I think we do a really good job of it. So I think everybody will come away having felt something important.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mark.
My pleasure, Andrew. Good to see you.
You too.
Stop too fast, telephone wire. Make this not the past, this car ride. This is where it has to happen. There must be some other chances. There's a moment I'm forgetting where you tell me you see me. Say something, talk to me. Say something.
Now we're joined by Allison Graham, who's playing Allison in Fun Home. Allison, where might have audiences at MST seen you in the past?
Recently, I played Mama Morton in Chicago. I've also been seen as Reno Sweeney in Anything Goes and Ava Perón in Evita.
Excellent. So how familiar were you with Fun Home before you auditioned for the show?
Not very. I know it was produced locally. I believe one of my castmates, Marian Jackson, was in it at Wilmington Drama League pretty recently. But I didn't know the show very well before auditioning. Obviously, I looked into it, on the Wikipedia page before auditioning, but I wasn't very familiar with it. I looked into some of the music and the synopsis, and it looked like something I was interested in, so I auditioned for it.
Excellent. So you are playing the role of Allison in Fun Home. I'm sure it's fun getting everything mixed up between being Allison and being called Allison. But tell us a little bit about the character Allison.
So Allison, we call her Big Allison or Big Al, because there's multiple Allisons. My role is more of like the narrator role. It's kind of what we call a memory play. So my role is kind of looking back on some different memories throughout her life. So I'm looking at small Allison when she was a kid, and then medium Allison when she's in college, looking at some different memories with her and her father throughout her life, and just kind of reflecting on what's going on. And she's decided she's going to be making a graphic novel, so she's getting ready to draw some cartoons.
Excellent. Has it been challenging playing a character based on a real person? What's been your journey through this rehearsal process?
So obviously, when I was cast, I started reading the graphic novel that Alison Bechtel wrote, called Fun Home, obviously. And that was kind of my research process for the rehearsal process. Our director, Will, actually told me not to read the one that was, she wrote another graphic novel that was about her mom, who told me specifically not to read that one, not to get into her relationship with her mom. But I read the Fun Home graphic novel to try and learn about, her relationship with her dad. And that was kind of my process to get to know her as a person. I did see some videos of her and kind of to look at her mannerisms and things like that. And that's kind of how I prepared for becoming Allison.
Excellent. Personally, do you identify with Allison? In what ways do you think that you're similar to Allison? And in what ways do you find yourself different?
I feel like I'm similar in that we are artistic people. She obviously loves to draw. She's made multiple graphic novels. I love to perform, so we have that artistic thing in common. I have been practicing my sketching. I'm not very good. You can see I am drawing throughout the performance, but I'm definitely not very good, but I do like the artistic thing of performing. So I think we're similar in that way. And I don't know what differences we might have. I know obviously she's an out lesbian. I'm not a lesbian, but I'm playing one for this performance. So that's a difference, I guess you could say.
Sure, absolutely. What for you has been the most challenging part of this rehearsal process, and what's been the most rewarding?
So it is definitely a challenge by the time we get to the end of the show. Allison has kind of moved out of her memories, and she's dealing with some challenging things. So by the time we get toward the end of the show, the emotions are real, the tears are real, my sadness is real. So it's been a challenge to kind of get through the ending, I'd say 15 minutes of performing this piece. So, when it gets to the end and we finished that last caption, I kind of have to like take a few moments to myself, take some deep breaths. I've asked some castmates for some hugs at the end to kind of bring me back to like reality. And they've been really kind with that, and have been really helpful to, you know, they ask me, you know, are you okay? Because it's really heavy at the end. And I've appreciated their support throughout the whole process.
Okay, we're gonna move past Fun Home for just one moment.
Okay,
I'd like 3 fun facts about Allison Graham.
3 fun facts. Allison Graham has 2 tattoos
Okay.
currently. She loves dogs. She does not have a pet dog of her own. And she has been performing at MST since 2013.
I think that's my favorite fact.
Yeah, my first show that I performed here was Shrek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's not the first show you worked on.
No. The first show I worked on, I assistant stage managed for Spring Awakening.
There we go. So this score for Fun Home is incredible. Do you have a favorite song to sing in the show?
A favorite song, I really enjoy singing Telephone Wire. It's a really beautiful song. But I also really love singing the finale with the other 2 Allisons. Kind of all of our themes that we sing throughout the show kind of overlap together, and it's the only time that I get to sing, I feel like, with the 2 of them. The 3 of us just kind of sing together, and it's just the 3 of us, and all of our kind of like memories come together and blend so nicely together. So those are my top 2, I'd say.
Playing Allison is a wonderful challenge in this show, seeing how that you are not just Allison in the show, but you are an active narrator. What's your favorite part of the show to watch while you're on stage?
So it definitely is a challenge because I do not leave the stage. I am watching and narrating the whole thing. But 2 of my favorite moments would be Small Allison's song, which is Ring of Keys, like her big moment. Cameryn singing Ring of Keys, and Liz as medium Allison singing Changing My Major. They're 2 of like the happy memories for Big Allison, and getting to watch them shine through those songs and just kind of observe them are 2 of my favorite moments for sure.
Excellent. So now it's the biggest question of them all, the most important question I want to ask you. Why should audiences come see Fun Home?
Audiences should come see Fun Home because it's a beautiful story. It's and anyone can relate to a piece of this story. It's a story about family. It's a story about just kind of reflecting on your own memories and how you grew up. And it's just, even if you can't relate to Allison Bechdel's, you know, what she went through as a kid and what she went through with her family, her dad, her mom, or, you know, her coming out story or anything like that. Like, it's a story about humans. You know, there's not something that you wouldn't be able to relate to in this show. And it's beautiful. And it's only 1 act, so it's, you know, you'll get out early, you can go to bed early, so why not?
Today I woke up with a feeling that I did not recognize. Our happy life seemed far away and everything was made of light. The sky was turning dark when, baby, I looked in your eyes, and that's when I knew. Everything's alright, baby, when we're together.
Fun Home runs April 29th, 30th, and May 1st. You can find tickets and more information at milburnstone.com. Thank you, and we'll see you in the lobby.